They say our bodies can make their own energy. Take, for example, sugar. And yeah, that is true. But what they never tell you is at what cost. The truth is that your body will tear down muscle tissue, spike cortisol, and stress your organs simply to survive if you're not eating right. That is not life, it is simply survival. In this video, I'm going to share with you how our bodies create energy, the sacrifices it makes when you're not fed, plus a bonus on how to know how much and what exactly you're supposed to be eating. I'm Coach Austin from the Unwrapped podcast, and this right here is the truth nobody is telling you. You see, the energy our bodies use for every physiological, mechanical, hormonal, and neurological function is from food. And when I say physiological, I mean immune responses, cell repair, detoxification, temperature regulation, even the brain activity behind your thoughts, emotions, and focus. For plants make their own food from sunlight, but we as human beings cannot make energy out of thin air. And this is where people get it twisted, thinking, oh, look, carbohydrates are making me fat. Poor genetics. Or simply a poor understanding of how the body makes its own glucose without carbohydrates. Yes, you're right, it can. But it's not free, just like you think. It comes at the cost of other metabolic substrates. The body will go through processes like gluconeogenesis. This is where the liver and the kidney take amino acids like alanine, glutamine, and turn them into glucose when you haven't eaten carbohydrates. It can produce ketones. When glucose is scarce and insulin is low, the liver breaks down fat into ketone bodies like beta hydroxybutyrate to fuel the brain and the body. We have lipolysis. This is where stored fat is broken down into free fatty acids and glycerol to be used for energy. Our bodies will go an extra mile to break down muscle protein to make glucose when food isn't coming in. That's your biceps, your quadriceps, your hard-earned muscle being sacrificed simply to keep you alive. You know how hard it is to gain that muscle. We have the cold cycle. This is where lactate, a byproduct of glucose metabolism, gets sent back into the liver and turned into glucose again. All these are simply coping mechanisms. So yes, your body can survive without the carbohydrates, but the cost is literally high. Have you given it a thought on how much strain this puts on your organs? The hormonal stress? The loss of performance? Your body is simply fighting to make glucose. And yes, if it has to break down muscle tissue to do so, trust me, it's always going to win. We have people who blame insulin. Oh, the insulin fear crowd, who say, I just want to control insulin, I will not eat carbs so I can burn fat. Yes, just because you're breaking down fat, it does not mean that you're losing fat. Fat loss only happens when fat is broken down, oxidized, and not restored. And that only means you have to be in a calorie deficit. So let's stop the guesswork and start calculating. Whether you want to lose fat, build muscle, or maintain that muscle, you need to know your body's energy needs. And this calls for knowing how much energy you exactly need so that you give the body that what it needs exactly to be burning down fat or storing that muscle. Knowing how much energy your body needs is like negotiating your paycheck after earning your master's degree. You've got to understand your worth. A calorie is simply a unit of energy, the fuel your body uses to power up everything. When I mean everything, every time you eat, you're fueling your breath, your brain, your heart, your movements, even those squats at the gym. Please, if you find this video amazing so far, please drop a like, share, and consider subscribing. Did you know that everything we eat on this planet is most likely going to be either a carbohydrate, which is our main fuel source for the body? This we get from rice, potatoes, bread, sugar. Or it's going to be a protein, which are bodybuilding foods. This we can get from eggs, chicken, fish. It might be a fat, which literally stores energy for our bodies. It supports cell functions. We get from nuts, oils, butter. And then we have fiber. This speeds up digestion. Of course, we get it from legumes, grains, veggies. It can be a vitamin, which supports the immune system. We can get from fruits and greens. And then it might be minerals, which keep fluid balance. This we can get from leafy greens, salt, dairy, or it might belong to the water group or water. By the way, water makes up 60% to 70% of our bodies. When you lose 15 to 25 of it, you're dead. This is according to research done in 2007, done by Sawaka and his friends. It was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology. Now that we've known all these foods or where the food belongs to, it comes to this. Food is really divided into two main groups. We have macronutrients. These can include protein, carbohydrates, fat, and these we need in large numbers. We have micronutrients, which can be minerals or vitamins. These we need in small amounts. So micronutrients might be the maintenance of that engine, call it the oil. But the fuel that keeps this engine running is the macronutrients. We need it in large numbers. Oil might be 1 liter in your engine, but fuel from here up to Riyadh might be liters and liters. Which brings us to the main question. How much should one eat? Step one, if you want to know what and how much you should be eating, is finding your BMR. Call it the basal metabolic rate. This is the energy your body uses at rest. No training, no walking, simply staying alive. After finding BMR, which you can do through a lot of applications on the internet, websites do this, but I like to use a formula by my friend Saint Jiao. I don't know, one day I might find myself stuck without the internet on this island, and then I have to know how much I'm going to eat. So the my friend Saint Jiao equation states BMR is equal to, open brackets, 10 times weight in kgs, you close the brackets, plus 6.25 times height in centimeters, close brackets again, minus, open brackets, 5 times age, close brackets, plus 5. That is for men. If you are a woman, this is the formula. BMR is equal to, open brackets, 10 times weight in kgs, close brackets, plus, open brackets, 6.25 times height in centimeters, close brackets, minus, open brackets, 5 times age, close brackets, minus 161. For this video, we're going to use my friend Hamad, who is a 25-year-old male, weighing 70 kgs and 170 centimeters tall. We say BMR is equal to 10 times 70. 70 is his weight in kgs, plus, open brackets, 6.25 times 170 centimeters. This is his height. So we say 170, close brackets, minus, open brackets, 5 times 25. This is his age, plus 5, giving us BMR equaling to 1,642.5 calories per day. This is the energy Hamad needs simply to survive. Just by sitting at home, not doing anything, this is the energy he needs to survive. If he goes to the office too, this is the energy he's going to need to survive. But this time around, Hamad goes to the gym. He goes 5 times a week. That means he needs extra energy. He's not simply surviving, he has extra activity he's doing, of which all this requires energy. That's now we have to find what we call the total daily energy expenditure. Call it TDEE. For you to find TDEE, there is a formula that we use. Normally, it's BMR, which is the basal metabolic rate, times PAL. PAL is the physical activity levels. These physical activity levels have factors, different factors that I'm going to share with you, of course. If someone is sedentary, he does a desk job, no exercise, we use a factor of 1.2. So for us to find what PAL is for a sedentary person, it is 1.2. If someone does light movement, he does not work out. For example, he moves around, goes to a grocery store, picks those groceries, he goes here and there to see friends and comes back home. He is doing light movements. So it is 1.4 to 1.5. That is his physical activity level factor. We have moderate. Moderately, this one we classify it as a person who goes 3 to 5 times a week. This is where my friend Hamad is going to fall, of course, 1.6 to 1.7. That is the physical activity level for a person who goes 3 to 5 times a week at the gym. And then we have active. For a person who's training or has a physical job, for example, that's me, a trainer. I train and I have a physical job. So my physical activity levels will be 1.8 to 1.9. We have a person who is very active. These are athletes or people who do labor jobs. Their activity levels fall to 2.0 or call it 2 to 2.4. They range in between 2 to 2.4. That is their physical activity level factor. Hamad, who goes to the gym 5 times a week, his PAW or physical activity level is 1.7. So for us to find the total daily energy expenditure or how much he's going to be spending for him to do his office job and go to the gym at the same time, we have to plug it into the TDEE formula, which is BMR times sport. So TDEE is equal to 1642.5, which was his BMR, times a factor of 1.7 for us to get 2793 calories per day. So this is the energy Hamad spends on a daily basis, him doing that office job and going to the gym. Having found that, now we need to know what macronutrients, how much is he going to be having for the protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So for us to know how much Hamad needs, we have to factor in all the macronutrients. Protein as a macronutrient comes first. We have carbohydrates and the fats that we're going to discuss later. So for us to know how much protein Hamad needs, we have a factor of 1.2 to 2.0. This is for an active person. Since Hamad goes to the gym 5 times a week, he's an active person. So 1.2 times his weight, which is 70, gives us around 84 grams of protein. 2 times 70 gives us around 140. So the amount of protein Hamad needs is between 84 grams of protein to 140 grams of protein every other day. But then I'm going to pick a sweet spot, which is 130, not 140, but 130, because I want Hamad to have his protein, yes, but I do not want him to overshoot his calories. So 130 is a sweet spot. So if I'm to find this in calories, I'm simply going to get 130 times 4. 4 being the number of calories in every gram of protein. So 130 times 4 gives me 520 calories simply from protein. Remember, his total daily energy expenditure is 2,793 calories every other day. So for me to find how many calories or how much energy is going to be distributed between the remaining macronutrients, I have to get 2,793 minus 520, which is equal to 2,273 calories as the balance. For this balance, I'm going to distribute it between fats and carbohydrates. If Hamad loves carbohydrates because he likes to eat rice, I normally give it a 60%, and then the fats, I'm going to give them 40%. So what is 60% of 2,273? Because this is the remainder after subtracting the energy we gave to protein. So 2,273 times 1.6 gives us roughly 1,364 calories. If you want to know the quantity or how much carbohydrates is going to be eating, remember this 1,364 is simply energy from the carbohydrates, or the energy we're going to distribute or give to the carbohydrates. So if you want to know the quantity, we divide this by 4, being how many calories in each gram of carbohydrates. That gives us 340 grams of carbohydrates. Next up is the fats. If we subtract 1,364 from 2,273, we get about 910 calories left. 910 divided by 9. 9 being the number of calories in each gram of fat, we get roughly 100 grams of fat. So Hamadi's final macronutrients are going to be like this: 130 grams of protein, 340 grams of carbohydrates, and 100 grams of fat. Now, my friend, that is how you eat with a purpose. If Hamad nails these macronutrients targets, he's going to be flying like a butterfly. Remember, that is how you fuel the body for a change. No starvation, no gimmicks, and simply no confusion. So the next time you hear the body makes its own glucose, remember at what sacrifice you're doing that. Do not let your body fight to survive. Feed it so it can live happily and thrive. If this video gave you clarity, please drop a like, hit the bell button, subscribe, and comment below for your algorithm. I'm Coach Austin for the Unwrapped Podcast. See you in the next one. Peace.